Alright, let's talk about our hair lightening products, and I've set out a lot of them here. This is V-Light, and all it's going to do is remove color. That's well and good. This is a very strong product, and it's a little scary to me because it works so quickly. So if you're applying it all over somebody's head, you better make sure you move quickly. If you're putting it in foils, you better make sure you move quickly, or you're going to have bright white here and orange over here somewhere because of having to get it off. So that's V-Light. Then we have another one by Matrix. It's called La Bleach. And all of these I'm going through so far do nothing but remove pigment. BW2, and we started out, or I started out, lightening hair with basic white, and that's what the BW stands for. The 2 lets me know it's one of the newer formulas. And all of them are white. You can tell. You do not want to breathe deeply of these because they will take your breath and burn your mucous membranes as they go in. Sun Glitz is not, and I specifically did not get those out because they are claimed to use sun energy instead of hydrogen peroxide, but then when you get their activator lotion, it says on the back of the bottle it's hydrogen peroxide. But as you can see, the powder is white. The biggest mistakes made with these is we do not shake this, and some of the active ingredients have got to the bottom of it. If we do not shake it, we put this bleach on somebody's hair and they sit there and sit there and sit there, and they're getting a lot of damage, but they're not getting a lot lighter because it has settled during shipping. And then we have one by Lady Renae, Speed Powder Bleach, and that's what we used to always call it, quick lighteners or speed bleaches, because they work very fast. And knowing that they work very fast, then we know they're a strong chemical. In the past, they were only used with 20 volume peroxide, but some of them do now come with where they can be used with 30 or 40 volume. Most of them are going to tell you if you mix it with 40 volume peroxide to make sure it does not come in contact with the scalp, so it's got to be an off the scalp application. But powdered bleaches as a rule are off the scalp application. A couple of the companies are coming out with some that they say can be used on the scalp, but I am still very leery of that, and I would put down a protectant on that scalp if I thought that even a little bit of it may come in contact with it. Now, I thought I had a blue one and a purple one, but I've come out with 2 violet ones. This is a lightener, and it's meant to cut what color? No, it is purple, so it's meant to cut what? Yellow. It's meant to cut the gold or yellow. So we can lighten and get rid of some of the underlying pigment at the same time.
I thought V-Light was purple.
I don't think so. Not just the plain V-Light's not. So this is a Kaleidocolor. It is a lightener plus something to help with the tone. So we know that when we start lightening this hair, it's going to turn gold and give us trouble getting the gold out. So we would choose the lightener with the violet. I also had some back there with blue. So what does the blue counteract?
Red.
Orange, yeah. So if we've got hair that we know we're going to get a lot of orange out of as we begin to lift, the underlying pigment, then we'll use blue to counteract it.
So her hair, what would you say we do one of those that are blue? Or are we just purple?
On her red hair?
Yeah.
With that orange, I would use the blue. Yeah. There is also a green. What does it cut?
Red.
Red. So whatever we think that underlying pigment is going to be, we can choose something to deal with it. I really like the Kaleidocolors, and I like cutting some of that underlying pigment that I know that's going to give me some trouble after I get through lightening. You know, and oftentimes if we'll do that, we wind up with an end result we want without applying that second chemical. If we're shooting for the lighter shades, and then actually if we're shooting for red, we're not going to get there. But if we're shooting for, if we're what?
What would you recommend for Andy's color? We go straight to bleach, we don't strip it.
I would, but another type of bleach we have is called a Creme Bleach. And I thought that would be in this unit. We didn't have some other pages to go over. Okay. We also have, there's powder bleach, and that's the big boy there. Now that's the strongest of all. We have the Creme Bleach, which can be used on the scalp for on-the-scalp application. And probably that's what I would use on hers to lift to the correct level of contributing pigment. Hers, I don't think is going to pull really, really orange. And the gold is easier to cut than the orange. Orange is usually the worst of the lot to cut. But I think that's what I do. And we also have an oil bleach that has an oil base to it, and it's safer on the scalp applications and often used for retouches. So I would use that, I think. First thing I would do with hers, since it is so dark black, I think I would test strand a couple of things because it has a relaxer on it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't, I'd try a couple of things and see what kind of results that I'd have left. But we got to remember, we're not looking at what she has chosen yet. So we're really not sure what underlying pigment. See, again, that's where we're putting the horse before the cart. If we do that, then we can wind up with some problems because we're lifting what she calls purple and what I call purple are probably two different things. And so I don't see a purple in this, so I don't know exactly what she's talking about. Some people are talking about the burgundy with a violent cast to it. But again, you can see the different shades. And most companies will identify, y'all see this ultralight series up here? They'll identify their pale, delicate colors by a special number or letter, or either on your color chart. They will say that's what this is. I had one more book I wanted to show you, and this book has always impressed me. They mailed this to me off of a website, but I was just infatuated with that flower because their presentation was very colorful. And this explains all the different products for Clairol. This is not meant to replace your color swatches by any means, but it gives you some application techniques. It shows us a broad range of colors. And as we go over into it, and I've had students that really wanted this book, and I, believe it or not, have emailed Clairol, and they've sent me several. But it goes into how the colors are made, and there's back to your basic colors. Y'all remember studied it, and shows how they interact with each other and how they use them in their color products. So this book is very, very interesting. And again, we're right back to our basics, and that makes it easy to see which color cuts the underlying pigment. And each one has its own little lesson here with it, and I like that. And it goes into their shades of color and what they're used for. It gives you a history of them, so it'll explain to you what's best to use as a toner, what's classified as permanent hair color, what's best to use on gray, what products do they recommend for it. And each time we've got a different little picture. And now we get into the purple right down here at the bottom. See, I don't know if that's what she's talking about. The violet colored there. And that's probably just an additive to perk up something to that purple. But I like how they've done all this. It makes you want to look further and read further. And there is more information. There's purple again. Y'all interested in buying somebody's hair purple? You see them on this page? And you see the variations of purple. And then again, they say presentation is everything. And we've got our colors again. Every different kind the company has. And I just love this one. And you'd think they're selling us jewelry, but actually they're trying to sell us hair color. And this is where we go into our basic white too, or whatever, and the uses of it. And also on there with the different colors, if you'll notice, are their kaleidoscopes with the additives in it to cut the different tones you get. All right. And right on through. I bet as well flip now that I've got it this far. You see some different things they've got here. And again, we've got the colors and what they do. The jazzing, she might try jazzing. It's not that damaging to the hair. And sometime it will give a coating that will appear that purple if she doesn't mind the dark purple. But you see the shades it's in. Yeah. Yeah. It also tells you on most of these if it can be used on pre-lightened hair. There is colors that you cannot put on pre-lightened hair or white hair because certain reds and whites make pinks. Certain purples and whites make lavender. And you'd say, well, somebody that want purple hair certainly wouldn't mind lavender hair, but they would. If they want purple, they don't want lavender. So always watch your formulations also. And here we come with our toners, cream toners, and they're meant to be used on pre-lightened hair.
So the toner, I know with mine, I think we used a toner, but I'm not sure which one. When we pulled my hair up, the back that pulls fast as the top does, and when we rinsed it, I had orange.
And then you put a toner on
And
it?
I put a toner. Didn't cut all the orange,
But it cuts some.
but it cut some.
It's according to what base color is in your toner as to how much it will cut
So
and what level you stopped at. So what you're saying is the back was stopped before it was really to the underlying pigment that you needed, but the toner did lift some. Hydrogen peroxide is a lifting agent. It's going to lift some. And then you have the color in the toner, the base color. That's going to cut some. But that doesn't mean we can gamble and do that, you know, because like you said, it's not as light as the front or not as light as you wanted it. It had too much underlying pigment. All right, other questions?
When you do, like, you lighten it and then you put another color on top of it, does that count as one service?
No, that is two chemical processes unless your toner is semi-permanent. That's the only time, because the semi-permanent or semi-permanents do not create a chemical change. So that doesn't count as a chemical change if it's semi. But if you're using a demi or a permanent toner, yes ma'am, that's two chemical processes. That means that won't work with a relaxer or a perm.
So the girl that came in that had the gray and wanted her hair chunked with folds, and she wanted dark brown, and she said that her hairstylist used to go and put it all over and then full in, but she didn't want us to do that because it was so damaging.
I didn't want you to do that either and wasn't going to do that.
Yeah.
Why put artificial color all over hair when parts of it you know you want to be light blonde?
Yeah.
Because that's just making you use more chemicals and put the hair through more stress because it went through the chemical change with the dark color. Now it's got to go through a lot stronger one than it needed to get rid of that dark artificial color plus remove the natural pigment. So the best thing to do is to foil in the lighter shades and then cover all the rest of it that's left out of the foils with a dark color. You know, I don't know why anybody would want to color it all over and then lift that, because that's, you know, those that you put in the foils with the lightener on it, that's one process. Then you go in and put the dark color on all the other hair while that hair is protected by the foils. Neither one of them have been through but one chemical process, so why add?
Say you have a girl come in and she wanted black hair, and say she was gray all over. If we took, somebody did take it and color all over black, and she wanted light blonde streaks.
She's not going to get light blonde streaks in black hair that has been dyed artificially. It's going to be red and orange, might be blue and green, anything but blonde. The only way you could take that to blonde, and this is not a sure way if it has stained it, and that's by using a color remover, because a color remover dissolves artificial color pigments and natural color pigments. But that is a very strong process. You cannot buy that product over the shelf in any way, shape, form, or fashion. It takes a professional to buy it. It is so strong.
So the best bet would just do full two colors. Full that color.
And then put the rest of it in the, yes. I don't ever like that dyeing the hair and then removing some of it. I don't see the point in doing two services or two chemicals on hair when one will work, and one will definitely work in that instance. All right, other questions? Okay, then we're ready to color, aren't we? I've got the classroom for y'all, so we can go on to our color applications when we finish this test. And I want to see what you can do. I may get our videographer back down here and let him video your work.